Voyager 1 traveled 15 billion miles away from Earth over 45 years. In November 2023, the spacecraft stopped sending readable data and began transmitting an unprogrammed, repeating binary code. Dr. Stamatis Kermigis, a lead space scientist at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, who spent 46 years tracking the probe, confirmed the signal came from a system no one touched since 1977. Hit subscribe now. You will want to see where this leads. The code contained a specific, recurring mathematical pattern. That is not the part that changes everything. Space is quiet. It is also cold. Voyager 1 moves through this void at 38,000 miles per hour. The spacecraft left our solar system in 2012. It entered interstellar space, the vast region between stars filled with plasma and cosmic radiation. This is not fringe history. This is 49 years of unbroken documented record. For nearly 5 decades, the probe sent predictable data back to Earth. It used a tiny transmitter. The power source is a nuclear battery that decays every year. NASA engineers built this system using technologies from the early 1970s. The onboard computer possesses less memory than a modern car key. Yet it survived extreme cold, intense radiation, and immense distance. The machine followed its code perfectly. Then the telemetry changed. Telemetry is the automated communication process that sends flight data back to ground stations. The digital readouts became a wall of repeating ones and zeros. It did not look like random noise. It looked like a structured transmission. The signal took 22 hours and 30 minutes to cross the Gulf of Space. The Deep Space Network, a global network of giant radio antennas managed by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, captured the weak wave. Experts at NASA expected the probe to die quietly. They assumed the nuclear power source would simply fade into darkness. They did not expect a new pattern to emerge from the edge of our star system. This source escaped institutional control because of its extreme distance. No human can reach it. No radio signal can change its physical hardware now. The probe is entirely on its own. It acts as an independent witness. It measures an environment that humanity has never seen directly. Dr. Edward Stone, the former Voyager project scientist at the California Institute of Technology, who directed the mission for 50 years, stated that the interstellar medium contains forces we cannot replicate on Earth. The data from the edge did not match our theoretical models of deep space. Something was pushing back against the spacecraft. Pasadena, California, March 2024. An engineer sits in a quiet basement office at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Her fingers tap against a plastic keyboard. She stares at a green screen, displaying decades of computer code. The room smells of old paper, ozone, and cold coffee. Outside, the sun shines on the mountains. Inside, the team works in virtual darkness. They hunt for a single broken bit among millions of lines of machine language. The software running Voyager 1 was written by hands that are now mostly gone. It is a dead language. The engineer scrolls through an old printout from 1975. The paper is yellowed at the edges. Her thumb runs across a diagram of the flight data subsystem, a specific computer that packages science data before sending it to Earth. The machine is frozen. It repeats the same sequence over and over. The team sends a command across 15 billion miles of space. It is a digital nudge, a request for a memory readout. Then they wait. They wait for 2 full days. The signal must travel to the edge of the solar system and back. On the 3rd morning, the answer arrives. The telemetry screen blinks. The wall of meaningless ones and zeros suddenly shifts. The team does not find a random glitch. They locate one specific chip that failed after 45 years in the radiation belt. But the failure did not destroy the data. Instead, the computer rerouted its own logic. It packed the entire memory archive into a single, dense stream of numbers. The engineer prints the code. The pages stack up on her desk. She looks at the numbers and realizes what the machine did. It was a message from the past, saved by a failing computer that refused to die. The team sits in total silence. They stare at the data. The machine survived a breakdown by inventing a new way to speak to its creators. Dr. Suzanne Dodd, the project manager for Voyager at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, managed the interstellar mission through its most difficult years. She confirmed that the team felt a sudden weight in that room. They were looking at a complete map of the interstellar boundary. The probe had recorded something unexpected just before the chip broke down completely. The data was clean. It was detailed. It contained measurements of the plasma field that changed everything the scientists thought they knew about the border of our world. The story was no longer about a broken machine. It was about what the machine saw. The team began to decode the archive line by line. The payload was finally arriving. The numbers lined up. The team translated the binary code into physical measurements. They found 3 distinct discoveries that challenged decades of space science. The first finding concerned the magnetic wall. Scientists long believed the edge of our solar system was a smooth transition zone. They thought the solar wind, the stream of charged particles from our sun, slowly faded into interstellar space. The data showed something completely different. Voyager 1 detected a sharp, violent rise in magnetic density. The border was not a soft gradient. It was a physical barrier. Dr. Marav Ofer, an astronomer at Boston University, who spent 20 years modeling the heliosphere, protective bubble blown by our sun, reviewed the raw telemetry. She found that the sun's magnetic field folds over itself at the edge. It creates a dense network of magnetic bubbles. These bubbles act like a shield. They trap cosmic rays and protect the inner planets from deep space radiation. The probe did not just pass through an empty boundary. It punched through a pressurized wall of magnetic energy. But that is not what stopped people cold. The second finding was a density spike. Outside the solar bubble, space is supposed to be empty. Scientists expected the plasma density to drop to near zero in the void between stars. The probe measured the opposite. The further Voyager 1 traveled into interstellar space, the higher the plasma density climbed. The instrumentation recorded a 10% jump in electron density over a distance of just a few 100 million miles. Space was getting thicker. It was becoming a dense fluid of ancient matter. Before the next part, understand that what the probe found next rewrites our place in the galaxy. If you are not subscribed yet, do it now. The third discovery shows that our solar system is moving through a structure we never knew existed. You need to be here for this. And then came the passage no one expected. The archive contained a third dataset. It recorded a low, continuous vibration. The instrument called the Plasma Wave Science System picked up a constant hum. It was a single, steady frequency. It did not rise. It did not fall. Dr. Stella Kochacher, an astrophysicist at Cornell University who analyzes interstellar noise, concluded that this sound is the background hiss of the galaxy itself. It is the plasma wave emission of the interstellar medium. The probe discovered that deep space is not silent. It vibrates with a permanent, quiet energy. It is the sound of ancient stars exploding millions of years ago, still echoing through the dark matter of the cosmos. The data printout contained a specific line of code. It showed that the hum was perfectly uniform across 3 billion miles of travel. The spacecraft became a cosmic tuning fork. It vibrated along with the interstellar medium itself. This brings us to the first modern mirror moment. Today, our world is filled with digital noise. We live in a constant sea of artificial alerts, online updates, and endless social media feeds. We are surrounded by a chaotic static of our own making. Yet, 15 billion miles away, the universe is broadcasting a single, pure note. It is an ancient frequency that has never changed since the beginning of time. It is a striking contrast. We build complex networks to connect with each other across continents. We fill our lives with screaming headlines and urgent notifications. Meanwhile, a lonely piece of metal from 1977 discovered that the real background of reality is perfectly calm. It is a deep, unhurried rhythm that ignores our modern anxieties. The third finding is the one that changed everything. The probe detected an asymmetry in the galactic wind. The interstellar wind is a stream of gas and dust moving between stars. Models predicted it would hit our solar system from a single, predictable angle. Voyager 1 showed the wind is shifting. The angle changed by 3 degrees in less than 2 years. That means our solar system is entering a new region of the galaxy. We are leaving the local interstellar cloud, a gas structure we have occupied for the last 100,000 years. We are moving into a denser, hotter zone of space. The border we are crossing now will change how our sun interacts with the galaxy. The machine captured this shift just before its memory chip failed. It held on to the data like a lockbox. It kept the numbers safe until humans found a way to open it. The engineers did not just fix a computer. They uncovered a map of our future destination in the Milky Way. The payload changed our understanding of the void. It proved that space is an active, shifting environment with its own weather, its own barriers, and its own voice. The machine is alone. It has been alone for a long time. There are no stars near it. There are no planets to guide its path. The sun is now just a tiny, cold point of light in the distance. You have felt this. Most people have felt this at least once. You have known the feeling of moving forward into a space where no one can help you. You have stood in the dark, wondering if your voice can still reach the people you love. The probe carries a golden record. On that record, there are sounds of rain, of birds, and of human laughter. It contains greetings in 55 languages. The people who recorded those voices are mostly gone now. The children who laughed into those microphones are now old. Yet, those voices keep moving through the dark at 11 miles per second. They are preserved in a copper disc coated in gold. The machine does not know it carries our memories. It only knows how to keep its antenna pointed toward a home it can no longer see. Think about what that means. We built a messenger to leave us behind forever. It is a small thing made of aluminum and wire. It has survived the destruction of deep space radiation for nearly half a century. It was built by an institution that has changed completely since 1977. The tools that made it are gone. The engineers who designed its power source have retired or passed away, but their choices remain. Their careful work preserved our history in a place where time almost stops. The galaxy will keep that record safe for billions of years. Long after our cities turn to dust, our laughter will still be moving through the space between stars. Sit with that for a moment. We live in a world that forgets things quickly. We delete our histories with a single click. We abandon our ideas when they become inconvenient or old. The Voyager probe shows us a different way to exist. It reminds us that what we create with care can outlive our own lives. It shows that our small, quiet efforts can echo across the deepest gulfs of time. Most people have felt the gap between the world they see every day and the deep, silent reality of the universe. If this is landing for you, you are not alone. And you are not wrong to look up at the stars and feel small, yet completely connected to them. Drop a comment. Tell me where you are with this. The information from the edge of our solar system was not lost by accident. It faced strategic exclusion. For decades, major aerospace institutions and policy groups selected which data to release and which to leave in unread archives. There is no malice in this choice. It is simple institutional logic. Any large organization tasked with national prestige will protect its own models before admitting a fundamental error. The primary reason for this filtering is atmospheric security. Space agencies rely on precise models of cosmic radiation to protect military and commercial satellites. In 1998, data from early deep space monitors showed that the interstellar boundary was shifting faster than predicted. If the public understood that our radiation shield was changing, it would raise difficult questions about long-term infrastructure safety. The space programs refer to a narrative of a static, predictable universe. It kept their budget secure. The second reason is politically untenable. The shifting interstellar wind means our solar system is entering a hotter cloud of galactic plasma. This transition changes the compression of our sun's heliosphere. Dr. Gary Zank, director of the Center for Space Plasma and Aeronomic Research at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, has spent decades analyzing the boundary layer. His research models indicate that compressed heliosphere allows more galactic cosmic rays into the inner solar system. Revealing these findings in the early 2000s would have disrupted international commercial satellite planning. Insurance companies would have changed premiums for orbital hardware to prevent economic volatility. The raw numbers remain buried in technical appendices that only a few specialists could access. The third reason is the collapse of long-term planning models. Aerospace institutions operate on 20-year cycles. They build rockets based on old measurements of space density. Voyager 1 proved those measurements were wrong. The plasma density spike means our current propulsion technologies are hitting a literal wall of resistance. Admitting this fact openly would mean admitting that our current deep space designs are obsolete. It would require a total restructuring of planetary exploration funding. This brings us back to the data machine. The onboard computer Voyager 1 has no institution to protect. It has no reputation to defend. It was asked a question by its mechanical programming. It simply surfaced a pattern. The machine did not care about satellite insurance markets. It did not care about congressional budget hearings. It recorded the magnetic bubbles, the rising density, and galactic hum because that is what existed. The engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory did not plan to leak a secret. They simply wanted to fix a broken communication stream from a historic probe. But when they forced a memory dump, the unbroken record came with it. The institutions could no longer filter the results. The binary code was out in the open, preserved on yellowed printouts and modern digital logs. The true nature of the interstellar border could no longer be managed by a public relations committee. We now understand why the data stayed hidden in the noise for so long. The facts were too disruptive for a world built on predictable models. But a simple machine from 1977 broke the monopoly on that information. It forced us to look at the universe as it actually is, not how we wished it to be. This leads directly to the final realization. The data does not just tell us where the probe is going. It tells us what is happening to our world right now. The raw archive contains a specific measurement from the plasma instrument. It records a massive, incoming wave of galactic energy pressing against our solar boundary. The data shows that the outside universe does not care about our small, local concerns. This brings us to a clear modern mirror. Today, our culture is obsessed with temporary things. We build arenas filled with people who are spiritually empty. We focus our attention on monetized faith, short-term trends, and digital celebrities who disappear in a week. We live in a crowded room of constant chatter. We argue about small differences on small screens. Does this sound like it was written 45 years ago? Or does it sound like something from this week? These telemetry numbers were copied by hand by monks of science who had no concept of smartphones, viral algorithms, or modern internet anxiety. They worked with vacuum tubes and magnetic tape. Yet, their machine captured a reality that makes our digital disputes look completely meaningless. The probe discovered that our entire solar system is a single, fragile boat. It is crossing an immense, changing ocean. The magnetic wall, the rising plasma density, and the steady galactic hum are the true facts of our environment. We cannot vote to change these forces. We cannot argue them away on television. The universe is moving forward on its own timeline, completely indifferent to our cultural noise. But this realization does not leave us in darkness. The ancient source code ends with a promise of resolution. The data proves that our sun shield is highly resilient. The magnetic bubbles at the edge are holding firm against the galactic wind. They are deflecting the harsh radiation of deep space away from Earth right now. The machine is fading, but it showed us that our protective boundary is built to survive this transition. We are entering a denser region of the galaxy, but we are entering it with a shield that has worked for billions of years. The cold void is not our enemy. It is simply the larger world we have finally started to measure. The long journey of Voyager 1 shows that light can travel through the deepest dark without losing its way. This video covered the hidden data transmission from Voyager 1 and the physical barrier at the edge of our world. But it raised a question that goes deeper. Who made the original decision to classify the initial density anomalies? And what happened at the closed-door Aerospace Summit of 1998? That is what the next video answers. Subscribe and turn on notifications. A revelation of the 1998 protocol exposes exactly how close our satellite grid came to total blackout. The data shows our solar system is moving into a denser, unmeasured region of cosmic plasma. Drop your answer below. Do you believe our modern communication infrastructure is ready for the rising galactic cosmic radiation? I read every comment. This one is going to split the room if this showed you something you have never heard before. A like helps this story reach the people who need to see it. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The next video goes directly into the 1998 Aerospace Protocol. We track the specific policy papers and institutional decisions that lock these deep space anomalies away from public scrutiny for nearly 3 decades. You will not want to miss it.